Thank you. I thank my friend for his leadership and his commitment to not only the families and the people in his district, but to the challenges that many families are facing all across the country, and look forward to continuing to work with him on these issues. Some of these challenges that face families across the country touch my constituents in Hawaii as well. And I'd like to share a few of their stories and their challenges here today in the hopes that Congress and this administration takes action and does the right thing for them and for our country. You know, we are a nation of immigrants. And Andres Magana Ortiz's story is not a new one. It's not one that'll surprise anyone. In fact, it'll be quite recognizable to most of us. No tradition is as American as telling the stories of our relatives and ancestors who, against all odds and great difficulty, found and made a home here on our shores. But while our family histories remind us of how far we've come, Andres' story demonstrates the progress that we have yet to make and who is hurt and affected by the lack of that progress today. Andres Ortiz came to Hawaii seeking the American dream. With hard work and perseverance and a little luck, Andres demonstrated what we as Americans know to be true and that we strive for. If you work hard, you can succeed and get ahead. Andres started a new life in 1996 picking coffee. Back-breaking, tough work for anyone who's done it before. In the Kona region on the island of Hawaii. He proved himself smart and capable, and he was soon promoted to supervisor. By 2010, he'd saved enough to buy his own coffee farm, and today he owns 20 acres of coffee trees and manages another 150 acres for his neighbors. Andres quickly earned a reputation as a knowledgeable and skillful farmer. When an invasive beetle called the coffee berry borer began to ravish our Kona coffee farms and the trees, Andres began a pioneering system to help his community track and eradicate this infestation even before our U.S. Department of Agriculture took action. Now, this infestation was not just a small matter. It was something that cost our farmers millions and millions of dollars. Our country offered Andres the means to become an entrepreneur, and he paid us back in full. He started a business. He creates jobs. And he takes care of his workers, and he's a leader in our community. Andres is not a legal resident of Hawaii, but Hawaii owes him a debt for his contributions. Managing the coffee farm is a family affair for Andres. He's a proud husband and father of 3 children. His wife and kids are all American citizens, and his kids only know Hawaii as home. Andres embodies the spirit of the American dream and serves as an example of why we should welcome courageous, hardworking immigrants into our community. The reality that Andres faces now, sadly, is far different. If Andres is deported to Mexico, as is supposed to happen in just a few days, his family, their farm, and Kona coffee growers are going to face a certain future. Without Andres to run the business, his family could lose their farm and lose their home. Their neighbors will lose a friend and a business partner. Brenda, his wife, will be without her husband, and their 3 children will be without their father. If Andres is forced to leave, the law will keep him from his family for 10 years. Should the family move to Mexico with Andres, they will have to learn a new language and a new culture. His daughter will have to drop out of college at the University of Hawaii and begin a new life in another country. Relocating to Mexico would deprive them of the benefits afforded to the citizens of this country. Now, unfortunately, Andres' story is not a singular one. Unfortunately, there are more. Just last week, Graham Ellis of Waimea is a 67-year-old British national and a leukemia patient. He heard a knock on his door, and it was 2 Department of Homeland Security agents who had come to begin the deportation process back to the UK after Graham had made Hawaii his home for over 36 years. After a few short minutes of conversation in front of his wife, Dina, who is an American citizen, Graham agreed to turn himself in at a field office in Honolulu the following day. Now, like Mr. Ortiz, Graham is a pillar within our community in Hawaii. But unlike Mr. Ortiz, Graham had already made the decision to return to the UK because he feared that deportation was inevitable under the heightened threats faced under our current immigration policies. Graham had made the decision to leave by the end of summer, thinking that these remaining months would give him time to get his affairs in order, say goodbye to the community and the home that he grew to love for so long. A circus performer by training, Graham spent much of his life in Hawaii teaching children from low-income and at-risk communities circus arts, bringing smiles and laughter to their faces and their lives. He served on the Puna Community Council and was the founding president of the Kalapana Seaview Estates Community Association. In his remaining final months, he had planned to make a trip to Kauai where he would instruct his last group of young, passionate students at a 2-week superhero-themed circus camp before shutting it down for good. Our immigration system is broken. We need a pathway to citizenship for immigrants to ensure people who deserve to be here can find a way to be a part of our great country. We need real immigration reform that keeps families together and integrates hardworking, tax-paying immigrants into our community. We need to preserve, protect, and restore the values that underlie the greatness of our country. I stand with Andres and Graham and the millions of other hardworking immigrants who built our great nation. And I stand with these immigrants who live in my community, who live in my district, and who have a proven record of upstanding contributions to our community. Now, at this time, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to yield 5 minutes to my colleague, the gentleman from Florida, Mr. Darren Soto.